The arrival of the new Yellowstone 1944 trailer has sent shockwaves through the fandom, revealing something utterly unexpected: an older, weathered Spencer Dutton. If your understanding of Spencer's arc was confined to the 1923 timeline, this preview is set to upend your perceptions of his character profoundly. The Dutton family saga continues its intricate weave, proving more complex and captivating than previously imagined. Prepare for a look into Spencer's later years, a perspective that might just redefine his entire legacy within the rich tapestry of Yellowstone history. As the footage shows, Spencer has aged, yet the mysteries and troubles of his past are far from resolved. The years spanning from 1923 to 1944 have clearly etched their passage onto the formerly bold and dauntless Spencer, guiding him into a subsequent phase of his existence, one veiled in heightened danger and complexity. With the weight of his family's heritage hanging precariously, Spencer's reappearance signifies both a deeply personal journey and a confrontation with history. What implications does this hold for the Dutton dynasty's future? What startling truths might Spencer unearth upon his return to the familiar, yet changed, Montana landscape? Fans who have keenly followed Spencer's development are poised for an exhilarating narrative expansion. The 1944 prequel promises not merely a continuation, but a significant exploration into the Duttons' increasingly complicated path through American history. The Yellowstone Universe consistently keeps viewers gripped, but this latest trailer for Yellowstone 1944 elevates the suspense dramatically. This eagerly awaited prequel doesn't just broaden the Dutton family chronicle, it introduces an older, perhaps wiser, but certainly no less formidable Spencer Dutton. The trailer offers a tantalizing glimpse of the man the iconic character has evolved into, and it deviates significantly from any prior expectations. Spencer, the young man central to the events of 1923, now bears the unmistakable marks of time, his accumulated experiences, and his ever-deepening connection to the Dutton legacy. This striking transformation immediately begs the question: how will Spencer's presence in 1944 irrevocably alter the course of the Dutton family? The preview hints at a considerably darker, more intricate facet of Spencer's persona, marking a dramatic departure from his earlier, more overtly adventurous self. The familial strife, underlying tension, and historical backdrop that characterize Spencer's youth are evidently persistent, and as the 1944 narrative unfolds, audiences are set to discover just how perilous the Duttons' world continues to become. We will dissect the pivotal moments from this trailer, delving into what the stunning revelation of an older Spencer Dutton signifies for Yellowstone's future and the enduring saga of the Dutton clan. Brace yourselves, the intensity is about to escalate significantly. The Yellowstone universe has masterfully evolved into a sprawling epic centered on power, allegiance, and violence, charting the course of the Dutton family across multiple generations. From the contemporary struggles in Yellowstone to the historical depths of 1923, and now anticipating Yellowstone 1944, viewers have been captivated by a world where history, kinship, and the land itself are locked in a perpetual struggle for dominance and survival. However, the most recent promotional footage for Yellowstone 1944 has ignited widespread discussion, primarily due to the staggering reveal of an older Spencer Dutton. This trailer transcends a simple tease of the Dutton family's future. It fundamentally reshapes our understanding of one of its most enigmatic figures. It offers insight into how Spencer's personal odyssey is far from concluded and how it's poised to influence the family's destiny in completely unforeseen ways. In the narrative of 1923, Spencer Dutton, portrayed by Brandon Sklenar, epitomized the untamed spirit of the frontier era. Young, courageous, yet haunted by the traumas of war, Spencer's path was defined by a search for personal redemption and an escape from a past stained by conflict. He endeavored to forge a new existence for himself, distant from the ancestral burdens. Yet, Yellowstone 1944 introduces a markedly different Spencer. Time has marched on, and the once burdened youth has matured into a man who has evidently endured further suffering, loss, and profound emotional challenges. The trailer, released as a key part of the series' marketing strategy, commences with a somber portrayal of Spencer, now visibly aged and marked by the years. His previously vibrant and risk-taking nature appears tempered by age, accumulated hardships, and the weight of an unresolved heritage. The toll of time, compounded by his turbulent history, is palpable in his expression. But there's an added layer to this iteration of Spencer. He is a man profoundly shaped by his life's journey, yet peace remains elusive. The critical question emerges, can he ever attain redemption, or will the ghosts of his past perpetually shadow his steps? The Duttons, as devoted followers know, are perpetually entangled in conflict, and the 1944 timeline propels the family's struggles into a new historical context. Set against the backdrop of a world grappling with the aftermath of the Second World War, the trailer suggests Spencer is not merely wrestling with internal demons, but is also inevitably drawn into the escalating tensions of the post-war era. As society undergoes transformation, so too does the Dutton family's position within the broader power dynamics. Spencer's role in this evolving world appears uncertain, but his journey promises to be anything but straightforward. The most arresting aspect of the Yellowstone 1944 trailer is undoubtedly Spencer's profound transformation. In the 1923 era, Spencer was fundamentally a man of action, readily embracing the inherent dangers of frontier life, while simultaneously attempting to distance himself from the psychological scars of war and the expectations tied to his family name. But the intervening years have not treated Spencer gently. The trailer presents a man visibly hardened by life's relentless trials, someone who no longer radiates the carefree optimism characteristic of his younger self. Indeed, the Spencer depicted in the 1944 preview is more than just an individual marked by the passage of time. He stands as a symbol of a world undergoing rapid, irreversible change, leaving behind traditional ways for the often harsher, more pragmatic realities of the post-war landscape. While Spencer has physically aged, the deep-seated pain from his earlier life evidently persists. The trailer subtly hints that he might have battled addiction, profound isolation, or other significant personal challenges during his time away from the core family unit. Fleeting glimpses suggest Spencer remains haunted by the losses and pivotal choices of his past, particularly the war that irrevocably shaped his worldview. His connection with his family appears fractured, and the central uncertainty revolves around whether Spencer will ever achieve reconciliation with the Dutton clan or remain condemned to live in the shadows cast by his own internal struggles. Despite the heavy emotional burden Spencer clearly carries, there are sparks of his former self visible in the trailer. Brief sequences show him back in action, his movements perhaps more calculated and deliberate than in his youth, but his inherent dangerousness remains undiminished. His complex character arc promises an exploration into the personal battles he confronts as an older man, whether that involves confronting his own deep-seated emotional scars, grappling with the consequences of past decisions, or attempting to reclaim aspects of his life that were lost along the way. Within the Yellowstone 1944 trailer, we observe Spencer in moments of quiet solitude, but also engaged in intense, potentially violent confrontations. He is portrayed not merely as a passive observer of the shifting global landscape, but as someone compelled to determine his place within it. Will he ultimately embrace his lineage and the potent Dutton name, or will he persist in carving out an independent existence, far removed from the family and the land they fiercely protect? The post-World War II period marks a time of significant transformation, both within the United States and globally. The profound effects of the war continue to ripple outwards, positioning this era as a critical juncture in history. The Dutton family, as established in previous installments, is deeply intertwined with the land and the larger conflicts molding the American West. In 1944, the social and political terrain is actively shifting, a dynamic that will undoubtedly shape Spencer's personal journey. The trailer strongly implies that Spencer will find himself caught amidst the mounting tensions of a world undergoing rapid modernization. The Dutton family faces challenges that extend beyond traditional concerns of land and livestock. They grapple with defining their very place in a society undergoing fundamental change. The emergence of new industries, the lingering societal aftershocks of global conflict, and the persistent struggles for influence in the American West are all poised to intersect with Spencer's narrative. As an older man, Spencer might find himself fundamentally at odds with these modernizing currents, striving to preserve the old ways even as the world relentlessly moves forward around him. This societal transformation provides a compelling backdrop for Spencer's evolving character. The Duttons have historically represented the old guard, often resistant to the encroaching pressures of modernity and societal evolution. However, as the 1944 timeline progresses, Spencer will be inescapably forced to confront this new reality. Will he tenaciously cling to the traditions embodied by his family and their deep connection to the land, or will he be inevitably swept along by the tide of change, compelled to adapt in ways he could never have foreseen? One of the persistent central themes woven throughout Yellowstone and its precursor series is the potent concept of family legacy. The Dutton identity has always been inextricably linked to their vast landholdings, their accumulated power, and their often fierce, unwavering loyalty to one another. Yet, as the Yellowstone 1944 trailer vividly illustrates, these family dynamics are far from simple or harmonious. Spencer's relationship with his kin, particularly the complex dynamic with his older brother Jacob portrayed by Harrison Ford in 1923, has historically been strained, and this new timeline strongly suggests these underlying tensions may only escalate. The trailer teases that Spencer will be forced to confront elements of his past, including his fractured connection to the broader Dutton family. There are evocative shots depicting Spencer in moments that appear deeply reflective, possibly contemplating his position within the family structure and the ultimate legacy he is destined to leave behind. Will Spencer ultimately return to the Dutton fold, assuming a leadership role within the family, or will he continue his lifelong pattern of rebellion against his inherited roots? The notion of legacy carries even greater weight in the context of 1944, as the world stands on the precipice of a new historical epoch. The Dutton family finds itself at a critical crossroads, and the choices Spencer makes are positioned to have profound, long-lasting consequences for their collective future. The trailer implies that Spencer's return is set to disrupt the established family power structure, potentially forcing them to address unresolved conflicts and resentments that have festered for decades beneath the surface. The Yellowstone 1944 trailer serves as a tantalizing glimpse into the future trajectory of the Dutton family, with Spencer's personal evolution positioned as the central focus of this new narrative chapter. The shocking revelation of an older Spencer Dutton underscores the significant changes both the world and Spencer himself have undergone in the years separating 1923 and 1944. Spencer's transformation into a more intricate and conflicted individual promises to introduce fresh layers of depth to the ongoing Dutton family saga, and the stakes appear higher than ever before. As Spencer contends with his past actions and confronts the novel challenges presented by a rapidly evolving world, the Yellowstone 1944 prequel is poised to inject even greater tension, intrigue, and dramatic weight into the ever-expanding Dutton legacy. Whether Spencer can ultimately achieve redemption or is destined to remain perpetually haunted by the shadows of his history is yet to be determined. However, one thing seems certain: his return will fundamentally shake the very foundations upon which the Dutton family stands. Prepare for an unparalleled narrative journey, because Yellowstone 1944 is set to redefine everything audiences thought they understood about the Duttons and Spencer Dutton's crucial role within their unfolding story. As the final sequences of the Yellowstone 1944 trailer unfold, a palpable sense of uncertainty permeates the atmosphere. Spencer Dutton, once the embodiment of the wild, adventurous spirit of 1923, now presents as an older, battle-scarred figure, indelibly shaped by the relentless passage of years and the accumulated burdens of his past. Yet what seems unchanged is his core, unyielding drive, a persistent desire to reclaim something lost, to comprehend his place in the grand scheme, and perhaps, ultimately, to find a measure of peace or redemption. The immense weight of the Dutton legacy rests heavily upon his shoulders, and as the trailer concludes with a poignant image of Spencer standing alone, surveying the vast, imposing Montana landscape, it becomes starkly evident that his return transcends a simple family reunion. It represents a necessary reckoning with the choices that have defined his life, and the legacy he must now either fully embrace or decisively break free from. The future trajectory of the entire Dutton family seems intrinsically linked to his path, yet Spencer's course forward is shrouded in ambiguity. Will he reintegrate into the family structure, taking his place alongside his brother Jacob and the remaining Duttons, thereby ensuring the continuation of their hard-won legacy? Or will he, like numerous Duttons who came before him, find himself forced to make an agonizing choice between personal autonomy and the unyielding demands of familial duty? The trailer subtly hints at the impossible dilemmas Spencer confronts as the world transforms around him. His journey might lead him into completely uncharted territory, where long-standing alliances are rigorously tested and fundamental loyalties are brought into question. In the closing moments, Spencer's contemplative, almost haunted expression suggests that whatever decision he ultimately makes will inevitably exact a heavy toll, not just personally, but upon the very essence of the Dutton heritage. As he stands solitary, the weight of his family's tumultuous history and the uncertain future of the land he cherishes loom large before him. The feeling of impending, significant change is almost tangible. Yellowstone 1944 appears set to deliver far more than just a continuation of Spencer's individual narrative. It promises to challenge the foundational identity of the Dutton family itself, compelling each character to confront the relentless forces of time, the scars of war, and the undeniable march of progress. As Spencer gazes towards the distant horizon, viewers are left with the chilling understanding that this story, much like the Dutton family dynasty it portrays, is far from reaching its conclusion. The trailer intentionally culminates on a cliffhanger, deliberately sparking even more questions than it answers. Will Spencer succeed in reconciling with his estranged family and the formidable legacy he was born into? Or will he ultimately turn his back on it all, choosing instead to chart an entirely new, independent course for himself? As the screen ominously fades to black, the underlying message resonates clearly: Spencer's ongoing journey, and consequently the fate of the Dutton family, will be irrevocably altered. This marks merely the beginning of what feels like a concluding chapter for Spencer Dutton, and the Yellowstone 1944 prequel promises a thrilling, unpredictable narrative arc that will keep fans utterly captivated until the very final frame. The Dutton story continues its relentless evolution, and as consistently portrayed, it remains fundamentally a battle for survival, enduring power, and ultimately the elusive pursuit of redemption. The legacy of the Dutton clan is far from definitively settled, and Spencer's pivotal role within this complex, ever-shifting world is poised to define the family's trajectory for generations yet to come. As we conclude this examination of the Yellowstone 1944 trailer, one point stands out with absolute clarity: Spencer Dutton's reappearance is destined to be a transformative event for the Dutton family. The profound change observed in him, from the intrepid young man familiar from 1923 to this older, vastly more complex figure, signals a deeper exploration into the emotional and personal trials that have molded him over the decades. His journey extends beyond the confines of the Dutton legacy. It encompasses a quest for redemption, a confrontation with his past, and a critical decision about where his true sense of belonging lies. The lingering question remains: will Spencer fully embrace his family and the formidable legacy they have painstakingly constructed, or will he forge ahead on a path defined by isolation, fundamentally challenging the very principles the Dutton name represents? Only the unfolding narrative will reveal the answer, but one thing is certain: the stakes have been raised exponentially, and Yellowstone 1944 is meticulously setting the stage for some truly astonishing developments.